at Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now.
Hi, I'm getting started in about 35 seconds. Good morning. You look so much like a friend.
Oh,
Dad?
yeah?
Yeah, Dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, she's super sweet, very knowledgeable. Yeah.
I once met the singer Patty Loveless, and she goes, "I know a Dory." And I waited, and I never heard it. I don't know, like, you know, did she hit on your boyfriend or your husband? What's the deal?
Talking about the fish.
All right. Yeah. And a good morning. Thank you for tuning into the Blind Community Store radio reading service. My name is Dory. I'm here with Sarah, and we invite you to listen to our broadcast both live and on demand. Live sessions available on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel, Monday through Friday between 10 a.m. and noon each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts played over KSMU subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on how you can receive a pre-programmed radio. And you want to get things started, Sarah?
Good morning. From the Springfield Daily Citizen, the Greene County Commission asks Environmental Advisory Board to study data centers. The Greene County Commission approved a letter July 7th asking the City-County Board to study environmental impact of data centers. And a picture that follows, members of the Greene County Commission, Rusty McLaughlin, and Bob Dixon and John C. Russell at a meeting in the Greene County Historic Courthouse in Springfield on Wednesday, November 15th, 2023 in Springfield. Following the Springfield City Council's approval of a 120-day moratorium on applications for data centers, the Greene County Commission on Tuesday, July 7th approved a letter requesting the Springfield Greene County Environmental Advisory Board conduct a study on the environmental impacts of data centers. The Commission approved the letter by a vote of 2-0, with Commissioner John Russell absent at a Tuesday morning briefing. As the Environmental Advisory Board, EAB provides recommendations to both the city and county. Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon said he asked the city to join the county in drafting the letter, but that the city was already working on its moratorium. This would not do that, Dixon said, referring to a moratorium, but the draft of the letter essentially asked the members of the board to study it and specifically look at the potential environmental effects of data centers related to energy consumption, water usage, emissions, and local infrastructure, what the best practices might be, or mitigation measures, regulatory approaches used by peer communities, and recommendations for the county that would help to protect or improve the environment in relation to current or potential future development. Dixon emphasized that he is not aware of any data centers under development in Greene County other than a potential project in Springfield that City Manager David Cameron has said could include some of the components of a data center. Moreover, Greene County only dictates zoning in unincorporated areas of the county. And the byline reads, letter calls for policy options in data center development. Driven by the increasing demand for artificial intelligence, the rapid expansion of AI data centers has been met with mounting concern across the county, including in southwest Missouri, where several jurisdictions have implemented moratoriums of varying lengths to allow them time to better understand the implications of such facilities and develop appropriate regulations. While some have applauded such moves, others have called for a complete ban on data centers. Prior to the Springfield City Council's approval of a moratorium, protesters gathered outside of Plaza Towers, where Biz 417 hosted a panel on data centers, to voice their concerns with AI data centers. The panel included Trent Overhue, owner of Plaza Towers and developer of a small-scale data center being built in Webster County, despite the staunch opposition of residents. And it follows as a picture of approximately 60 Springfield area residents protesting unregulated growth of AI data centers on Tuesday, June 23rd outside Plaza Towers in Springfield. The letter approved by the Commission points to the EAB's duties as outlined in the order establishing the board to advise the city and county on existing and proposed operations that may substantially affect the environment, recommend programs and activities that will improve or protect environmental quality, field inquiries regarding local operations and their environmental impacts, and assemble materials and data to guide environmental decision-making. The rapid expansion of data center development nationally and the environmental considerations often associated with such facilities include energy demand, water usage for cooling systems, noise, land use impacts, and resiliency concerns. The letter reads, in part, we believe a focused study by the board would be timely and beneficial. A thorough assessment could help Greene County understand the potential impacts and evaluate policy options to ensure that growth in this sector aligns with the community's long-term environmental and sustainability goals. The byline reads, Commissioner, you better have your ducks in a row. List of non-negotiables. Prior to drafting the letter, Dixon said he spoke with members of the EAB who were hopeful that the county would have a discussion around data centers before any potential proposals were to come forward. They're looking for ways that they can be helpful, and I think it would be good for us to try and to study and get as much current data based on the new technology, the latest technology, as we can advance of any proposals that might come down the track, Dixon said. Now, we did have that battery storage proposal out here north of town that we turned down at Planning Board, but that was old technology. It was a brand new company that had never done this before, but there are a lot of companies across the country who are doing this quite rapidly. Some are new technology, some are not. I just think it would really be wise for us to get all the information we can. And what follows is a picture of Greene County Planning Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon in a Springfield Daily Citizen file photo. Dixon said he was heard from his counterparts through the National Association of Counties who have failed to do so in advance of data center development in their own counties. They encouraged him not to make the same mistake and modify their zoning code to ensure residents have a voice in the process. While recognizing the potential benefits of data centers, Dixon said that there are extremes on both sides, adding that some people email him on a daily basis with the latest thing that's on TikTok about data centers. I'm really more interested in getting down to the facts and having some folks dig in and study it so that we can be prepared and then not block development, but also not harm the environment, Dixon said. In expressing support for the letter requesting EAB to study data centers, Commissioner Rusty McLaughlin offered his main takeaway from a recent seminar in Jefferson City. I think what we stressed there is, you better have your ducks in a row, you better have your list of non-negotiables. These are areas we will not bend on, so that if and probably when someone has made a request for zoning or building permit, we know where we're at on that, McLaughlin said.
And from the Springfield News-Leader, a new Missouri law will require age checks for porn sites. This is a story by Jason Hancock. And a couple of key points here. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe will sign a bill requiring pornography websites to verify that users are at least 18 years old. Websites must use a third party to conduct age verification and can face significant civil penalties for noncompliance. The bill follows a similar rule from the Attorney General's office that led Pornhub to block access in Missouri. Governor Mike Kehoe has announced he'll be signing legislation on Thursday, July 9th, requiring pornography websites to verify that users are adults before allowing them to access sexually explicit content. The bill, which will take effect August 28th, applies to commercial websites and social media platforms that knowingly and intentionally publish or distribute content in Missouri if more than one-third is, quote, sexual material harmful to minors. It was included in a list of 22 bills Kehoe's office said he plans to sign July 9th. Covered sites would have to use a third party to conduct reasonable age verification, confirming that a user is at least 18 through digital identification, government-issued identification, or a commercially reasonable system relying on public or private transactional data, such as records from mortgage, education, or employment entities. Third-party age verification providers would be barred from retaining identifying information about users. The bill is designed to put into state law a policy Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has already been enforcing through an administrative rule under the Missouri Merchandising Practices Act. That rule took effect in December and prompted Pornhub, the largest adult content website, to block access in Missouri rather than implement site-level age checks. Quote, this is a source. Children do not need to vote pornography, do not need to view pornography, said State Representative Sherry Gallick, a Belton Republican who carried the bill. She told The Independent in May. Gallick argued that easy access to online pornography distorts minors' understanding of sex and relationships and can be used by predators to groom children. Quote, one of the things that was really compelling to me is that a lot of people grew up in today's age, look at a phone or they look at a computer, and they think that is reality, Gallick said. It's very demeaning to women and to children. Under the bill, the Attorney General could sue commercial entities accused of knowingly violating the law Courts could impose civil penalties of up to $10,000 for each day a website operates without the required age checks, and $10,000 per violation if an age verification provider retains identifying information. If at least one minor accesses sexual material harmful to minors because a covered website failed to comply, the court could impose an additional penalty of up to $250,000. The bill includes exemptions for bona fide news and public interest broadcasts, website videos, reports, or events, and says it should not be interpreted to affect the rights of news-gathering organizations. Internet service providers, search engines, and cloud service providers would also be shielded from liability when they merely provide access or connection to content they did not create and do not control. The measure passed the Senate 32-0 in May before returning to the House, where it won final approval on a 112-25 vote. 20 Democrats, 5 Republicans voted against it, while 11 Democrats voted, quote, present. Supporters say the law is needed to make it harder for minors to encounter explicit material online. Opponents question whether the requirement would work, warning that teenagers could bypass age checks through virtual private networks and that privacy concerns could push major adult sites out of Missouri while driving traffic to less regulated websites. Quote, kids are smart, said State Representative Eric Woods, a Kansas City Democrat. During the House debate in March, there are VPNs. They are browser settings that allow you to skirt around some of this stuff. The legislation advanced after the U.S. Supreme Court upheld a similar Texas law last year. In a 6-3 decision issued last year, the court ruled Texas could require pornographic websites to verify users' ages, saying the state had an important interest in shielding minors from sexually explicit content.
And from the Springfield Daily Citizen, birthplace of Route 66 Festival set for August 7th through 8th in downtown Springfield. The centennial celebration continues with the annual Car-Centric Summer Festival. And what follows is a picture of cars being displayed along St. Louis Street, the part of the birthplace of Route 66 Festival. The annual Birthplace of Route 66 Festival is back on August 7th through the 8th in downtown Springfield. This year marks the centennial celebration of the Mother Road, and with that comes an even bigger celebration. The Birthplace of Route 66 Festival is still free to attend, as it remains one of the biggest regional events in the United States, bringing over 65,000 guests annually. The 2-day festival will host over 600 classic cars and trucks, motocross jump performances, and more historic Route 66 experiences. A full schedule for the festival is available online. Byline reads, Car Shows and Motorcycle Village. The Birthplace of Route 66 Festival began as a block party car show in 2010. Since then, the car show has grown significantly. It is $40 to register your car or truck in the car show this year. The first 600 people to register their car in the show will receive a free t-shirt. You can register to show off your car at the truck festival here on our website. Motorcycle Village is back this year with a charity bike show, a Route 66 Gypsy Poker Run, the Globe of Death stunt show, and a freestyle motocross jump show. It's $30 to register your bike for the charity bike show, with more information on registering is here at our website. Also at the festival, a car cruise will be held at 6 p.m. on both August 7th and 8th. You do not need to register your car in the show to participate in the cruise. The festival will also have plenty of food trucks and downtown Springfield dining for hungry festival goers and those looking to get out of the heat. And the byline is live music and other entertainment at the festival. Live music on August 7th will include 3 p.m. the Grasshopper Unit, 5 p.m. the Refugees, 7 p.m. members only, and 9 p.m. the Emerald City Band. Live music on August 8th will include at 1 p.m. the Southern Bandits, 3 p.m. Molly Healy and Band, 5 p.m. Dawson Hollow, 7 p.m. Chronicle, a Clearance Clearwater Revival tribute, and at 9 p.m. Six Wire with special guest Al Paris, formerly of Kool and the Gang. Kindig It Design will have a show starting at noon from the Aaron Sachs stage in Motorcycle Village on both days of the festival. Dave Kindig and Kevin Scheel, stars from the show Bitchin' Rides, will show off custom cars. Byline reads, making the festival possible. Volunteers and donations are a big part of making the Birthplace of Route 66 Festival happen. To donate and or volunteer at the festival, visit the festival's website and click the volunteer tab.
And from the Springfield News-Leader, I've got some sports news for you. Drury men's basketball season will open with 5 straight home games. Drury men's basketball head coach Chris Foster has announced the Panthers' 2026-27 schedule. DU's 27-game regular season slate will feature 16 home dates at O'Reilly Family Events Center this winter, including 6 games against 2026 NCAA Division II postseason qualifiers. The Panthers will open the new season with 5 straight home games, including a pair of 2-day classics at the O in the month of November. Drury kicks off the season by hosting the Tip-Off Challenge November 13th through the 14th, scoring off against Union in its debut contest before facing Harding the following day as part of a 4-team classic that also includes fellow Great Lakes Valley Conference foe Southwest Baptist. Drury will welcome Central Bible University to the O for a non-conference game November 17th, then once again host the Doubletree by Hilton Thanksgiving Classic, which will include DU contests against a pair of MIAA squads in Pittsburgh State and 2026 NCAA regional qualifier Central Missouri. Drury will open GLVC play the following week with a road contest against defending conference tournament champion William Jewell. This is set for November 30th in Liberty. The Panthers return to Springfield for 3 consecutive home contests, beginning with conference games against 2026 GLVC regular season champion Rockhurst. DU then hosts Illinois Springfield before taking a break from league play with back-to-back non-conference games with Ozarks Christian and Arkansas Tech, leading into a 13-day holiday break. The Panthers will return to action with GLVC road contests against McKendree and Missouri in early January before returning to Springfield for a January 9th game against Truman State. Next, a trip to Illinois Springfield proceeds with the Panthers' longest homestand of the conference season, which opens with the January 16th matchup with Missouri St. Louis. Home dates with Southwest Baptist and McKendree following before the Panthers will trek to Indianapolis for their final GLVC matchup with the Greyhounds on January 23rd. Back-to-back home games against Lewis and Missouri S&T open the final month of the regular season. The Panthers will return to the road February 6th with the conference game against Quincy and then travel to Kansas City for their return contest with Rockhurst. DU will wrap up its home schedule with matchups against Upper Iowa and William Jewell in February before playing their final 3 regular season games on the road. The Panthers open the stretch against Maryville February 20th in St. Louis before trips to Southwest Baptist and Lincoln rounding out the GLVC slate. The GLVC Men's Basketball Championship Tournament will be held March 4th through the 7th in St. Joseph, Missouri, before NCAA Division II regional play gets underway the following week. That's beginning March 12th. The tournament concludes with the Elite 8 National Semifinals and Championship March 23rd through the 27th in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The Panthers coming off their 3rd consecutive winning season under Foster, who led DU to a 17-14 campaign and runner-up finish in the GLVC tournament in 2025-26. Drury men's basketball 2026-27 season tickets are scheduled to go on sale in August.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, hurdles ahead for University Heights properties even after appeals court sides with developer. The Southern District Court of Appeals affirmed a June 2024 ruling that restrictive covenants from the 1900s were unenforceable. And what follows is a picture of an empty lot that was once home to a house on the corner of National Avenue and Sunshine Street. After a 3-year saga, a lawsuit surrounding properties in the University Heights neighborhood appears to have come to an end after the residents lost their appeal in a case against developer Be Kind and Merciful. The Southern District Court of Appeals filed a decision on July 2nd to affirm a June 2024 ruling that restrictive covenants from the 1900s that limited the neighborhood's development to private homes were unenforceable. The suit dates back to late 2022 when a member of University Heights property owners sued the developmental company BKM and LLC, Be Kind and Merciful. The suit alleged that covenants carried on property deeds dating back to 1925 prohibited any development in the neighborhood that was not single-family homes. BK&M had planned a number of possible multi-family residential and commercial developments for the properties it purchased at the northwest corner of Sunshine Street and National Avenue. And what follows is a picture. Judge Derek Ancrum listens to BK&M developer Ralph Duda in the Greene County Circuit Court on Wednesday, December 27, 2023. In 2024, Greene County Circuit Court Judge Derek Ankrum sided with the development company, ruling that covenants carried on property deeds did not hold up in court for a number of reasons. The neighborhood property owners then appealed Ankrum's decision. While the appeals court ruled in favor of BK&M, the company said it has plans to sell the properties in the historic neighborhood rather than go through the rezoning process and develop the property. BK&M principal Ralph Duda declined to comment on the appeals court decision and how it impacts his plans for the University Heights properties on July 6. Attorney Brian Wade of Hush Blackwell LLP, who represented the University Heights residents on the appeal, did not respond to multiple requests for comment. Barbara Susan Robinson, one of the plaintiffs, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The case was Dixie Slate et al. V. BK&M LLC et al., an appeal from the Circuit Court of Greene County. The three-panel appeals included judges Jennifer Grocock, Matthew Hammer, and Brian Nickel. Springfield-based Valiant Group has shown interest in acquiring the properties for a residential development and has had discussions with BK&M on the acquisition. In January, a team from Valiant, including owner Josh Manning, met with the University Heights Neighborhood Association to explore the purchase of the properties that had been at the center of controversy for several years. Manning said that previously that in order for Valiant to purchase the properties, the appeals court need to affirm the original ruling. On July 7th, Manning said Valiant was still pursuing the purchase. The next step in the process is to use Valiant's in-house development team to come up with a feasibility study. That will include design of the development, impacts to the neighborhood, and financials of the project. And what follows is a picture of developer Josh Manning of the Valiant Group talking about the possibility of purchasing the property at Sunshine and National from developers BK&M at an introductory meeting with the University Heights Neighborhood Association on Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. Our next step is our design team is going to run a feasibility study, so we're going to actually lay out what we think we can fit on the site and what it's going to look like, and kind of what the financials and performance of the project will look like, Manning said by phone July 7th. If all of that makes sense, then we'll go to the next neighborhood meeting and kind of present that to the neighborhood and just get their feedback. While no timeline is set at this point, Manning said the feasibility study could take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. Valiant will be in the process for the long haul, Manning said. It's still very early, Manning said. We haven't made a financial commitment to it, to purchase the land. Are we still very interested in doing the development? Yes. Are we going to move forward with trying to do the development? Yes. Am I optimistic that I think we can do it? Yes, but there's still a lot of hurdles. Manning said the company wants to produce the feasibility study, meet with neighborhood stakeholders to go over development plans, and get started on the rezoning process that will have to go in front of the Springfield Planning and Zoning Commission and then City Council. If we can get through that free and clear and that's all good, then we would end up purchasing the land and then move forward with the development, Manning said.
And a couple quick stories here for you from the Springfield News-Leader. First off, this is written by Janice Reeser. Stone County opens a new food pantry with client choice approach. Christian Action Ministries has opened a new food pantry in Stone County, expanding access to groceries through a client choice model designed to give families more control over what they receive. The nonprofit marked the opening with a ribbon-cutting ceremony at 385 State Highway 76 in Reed Spring, according to a community announcement, bringing together the Table Rock Lake Chamber of Commerce along with the Hollister and Branson Chambers. Quote, "This has truly been a journey of faith and perseverance," Michelle Dean, Executive Director of Christian Action Ministries, said about the partnership efforts behind the project in the announcement. Leaders with the organization secured a permanent location for the pantry within the former Gibson Tech Building's Marine Bay after an extended effort by its board of directors, according to the announcement. And what follows is a picture of Christian Action Ministries marking the opening of their new food pantry, the ribbon-cutting ceremony, and a lot of smiling faces there, of course, along with the ribbon just before official cutting. The next byline reads, Pantry shifts to client choice model. The new pantry will use a client choice approach that allows visitors to select their own food items according to a grocery store experience. Organizers said that the format can help accommodate dietary needs and personal preferences while supporting dignity for those seeking assistance, according to the announcement. This marks a significant step forward in addressing food insecurity in the region while preserving the dignity and choice of those in need, Dean said. And the next byline, serving growing needs in Stone County. The Stone County Food Pantry is expected to assist more households as demand for food resources increases, according to the announcement. The site designed to provide a welcoming space where individuals and families can access nutritious food in a supportive setting. And a Springfield group will be hosting C Street Photo Scavenger Hunt. A Springfield woman social group plans a photo scavenger hunt aimed at connection and exploration along historic Commercial Street later this month, according to a community announcement. Wave Springfield will be hosting the team-based event July 18th, inviting participants to visit shops, public art, and other points of interest throughout the district. The activity is designed to bring together women from across the area for a shared social experience, according to the announcement. Teams will be completing photo challenges and group activities at various locations before gathering again for prizes and awards at the end of the event. Participants will explore historic C Street while completing themed challenges intended to highlight the district's businesses and character. No photography experience is required, and participants can join individually or with friends. Organizers said that with the event is structured to encourage interaction and teamwork while showcasing one of Springfield's established commercial corridors, according to the announcement. Wave Springfield was founded by Tony Miller in March 2026 as a social community centered on shared experiences. The group hosts 4 to 5 events each month and has grown to more than 2,100 social media followers within its first 4 months. Quote, making friends as an adult can be difficult, Miller said in the announcement. Wave is built around the idea that it's easier to connect when you have something fun to do together. This event gives women a chance to explore one of Springfield's most unique districts while building new friendships and supporting local businesses. And if you'd like to attend, the event will begin at 10:30 a.m. Big Mama's Coffee and Espresso Bar at 217 East Commercial Street. And for more details and registration information, you can check out the Wave Springfield Facebook page or go online, facebook.com/Wave Springfield.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, Cardinals top prospects Rainiel Rodriguez and Liam Doyle giving fans a glimpse of the future with MLB Futures game selections. Springfield pitcher-catcher duo to be showcased in Philadelphia on July 12th among the top players in the minor leagues. And what follows is a picture of Springfield Cardinals catcher Rainiel Rodriguez walking back to the dugout the half inning on Tuesday, June 30th, 2026 in Springfield. It's easy to understand why St. Louis Cardinals' #1 minor league prospect Rainiel Rodriguez is nicknamed the Hulk. At 5'10" and a chiseled 200 pounds, the 19-year-old catcher swings a loud bat. The ball has a different sound off his bat than most, echoing through a mostly empty Route 66 stadium during a late afternoon batting practice session. It's pretty impressive, said teammate Liam Doyle, the organization's #2 prospect. He's hitting home runs all the time now, and his average is just spiking off every day. It's easy for Cardinals fans to envision Rodriguez and Doyle, 22, forming a foundation behind the plate and on the mound at the big league level for many years to come. The duo, growing in tandem at the AA level in Springfield, are off together to the MLB Futures game on Sunday, July 12th in Philadelphia. The game being played in Philadelphia is a bonus for both. Rodriguez moved to the city from the Dominican Republic at age 10, and Doyle grew up in Boston, a relatively short 5-hour drive. They'll both have family and friends in attendance as baseball's best prospects take part in the Futures game. I'm very excited to go to Philadelphia. This is very special, Rodriguez said. My time there, it helped me a lot. I got to know the culture and learn English. It helped me communicate with everyone over here. So I'm really grateful for that. Signed as an international free agent at the age of 17, Rodriguez immediately envisioned himself someday following in the footsteps of his baseball heroes, Cardinals greats Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols. Rodriguez said he got to meet and work with Molina during spring training this year, and he played for Pujols when the slugger managed the Leones del Escogido team in the 2024-25 Dominican Winter League season. Yachty told me to keep working hard and doing my stuff and ask questions to veteran guys, and that helps a lot, Rodriguez said. Rodriguez had a bit of a slow start in Double-A after joining Springfield after Memorial Day. It didn't take him long to figure things out, finishing 21 games in June, hitting .338 with 5 home runs. Overall, with Springfield, he was hitting .265 with 7 home runs and 24 RBIs entering Tuesday's series opener at Tulsa. I made a couple of judgments, but a lot of my season's going great, thanks to God, Rodriguez said. I'm going to keep working hard, giving it all on the field. At catcher, I feel like it's getting better and better all the time. I'm very focused on my defense, working hard every day. Springfield manager Patrick Anderson said Rodriguez carries himself on the field well beyond his age. The only time I really see him as a 19-year-old is off the field sometimes with that smile, giggling, and talking about stuff that 19-year-olds talk about, video games and that sort of thing, Anderson said. This kid is really mature in understanding the game. He is determined to get to the big leagues. So many people are like, oh, this place is a lot better than Peoria, this and that. And he goes, this is just stop for me. He doesn't say that in a cocky way, but in a positive way. It really tells you a lot. There is a lot of catching depth ahead of him in the organization with 2024 Texas League Player of the Year Jimmy Crooks, Ivan Herrera, and Pedro Pajes in St. Louis, and 2025 minor league catching Gold Glover Leo Burnell and former big leaguer Yoel Pozo at AAA Memphis. Rodriguez says he's only focused on doing his thing. Having all those guys in front of him, if you will, really pushes all of them and drives them, Anderson said. But if Rodriguez keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to make it a difficult decision for management. And what follows is a picture of Springfield Cardinals starting pitcher Liam Doyle hurling the ball from the mound on Wednesday, June 10th, 2026 in Springfield. Doyle, meanwhile, doesn't have the glittering statistics like Rodriguez. He is 1-5 with a 5.46 earned run average in 14 starts, striking out 75 with 33 walks in 56 innings. But the number 5 overall selection from the 2025 draft out of Tennessee has a power arm the organization needs. He is making progress, Anderson said, noting that Doyle could be primed for a big second half if everything clicks. I've learned a lot about myself, Doyle said. Sometimes you have to go through some tough times. I've learned a lot. I've done better. I'm just a way better pitcher since the start of the year. It's been all coming together and looking to have a great second half here. The Cardinals opened the second half 9-3 with this week's 6-game series at Tulsa leading to the All-Star break. Springfield returns home July 17th to the 19th to open the second half of the schedule against Amarillo.
Missouri cannabis workers are unionizing as effort spreads throughout the industry. A couple of key points here. Missouri cannabis workers are gaining momentum in their efforts to unionize across the state. A dispensary in Columbia ratified the state's first collective bargaining contract for cannabis workers. Recent union victories and a key National Labor Relations Board ruling have empowered more workers to organize. Missouri cannabis workers are trying to turn a string of recent union victories into broader organizing momentum across the state. High-profile cannabis dispensary workers in Columbia at the end of June unanimously ratified what union officials say is the state's first collective bargaining contract for cannabis workers, securing higher pay and paid vacation time. Quote, now for the first time in Missouri, dispensary workers are feeling that contract high. The United Food and Commercial Workers International Local 655 posted on its Facebook page Wednesday. And in St. Louis, Proper Brands post-harvest workers who process and manufacture products won their election to unionize last week. And Vibe Cannabis post-harvest workers are scheduled to hold an election at the end of July. Quote, I've been hearing from more and more production and dispensary workers all over the state who want to find out what they need to do in order to organize their workplaces, said Sean Shannon, organizing director at UFCW Local 655. They basically thought it was impossible when all these companies were fighting, and now the workers are winning. And we see a picture of a couple of workers who are pictured in front of the high-profile cannabis shop. After Missouri legalized recreational marijuana in 2023, the state saw a surge in cannabis jobs that was soon followed by a push to unionize. Several groups of workers endured years-long legal battles and company pushback. This year, some are finally seeing the results. Sierra Lutz was among the employees who organized the high-profile union petition in 2023. She's now a trimming tech at Vibe Cannabis, where she's leading the unionization campaign. She and her fellow post-harvest workers filed a petition to unionize last month. After hearing the news about High Profile's contract, Lutz applauded the workers' dedication. Quote, "I'm so proud of their perseverance," she said. They deserve every second of this glory. Her work with High Profile taught her some key lessons as she's bringing to the Vibe campaign. She said, the main one, patience is everything. The workplace won't change overnight, but change will come, Letts said. That's been my biggest point I've been communicating to Vibe employees. Other Vibe employees are also organizing veterans after participating in the unionization effort at Beleaf's Medical Cincy cultivation facility in St. Louis. In May, Cincy workers won a significant legal precedent for post-harvest workers after a nearly 3-year battle with a decision affirming their right to unionize under federal labor law. More and more workers are feeling empowered, Shannon said, and I believe we're going to see a huge wave and a rise in workers rising together. The next byline reads, a seat at the table. Katie Hazelwonder, a trainer in Proper's post-harvest department, said she was overjoyed that workers voted 25-21 to unionize on July 1st. We put a lot of work into this, and I'm so thankful to everyone that stood together to make this happen, Hazelwonder said. That's honestly the only way we got through this. We stood together and never backed down. Hazelwonder acknowledged this was a stressful month for both sides of the vote, but said she believes the effort will result in better pay, job security, and working conditions. And what follows is a picture of post-harvest employees at Proper Cannabis. A lot of smiling faces there. This victory is about all of us having a voice and having a seat at the table, she said. We're looking forward to negotiating a fair contract that reflects the hard work and dedication of everyone. John Pennington, founder and CEO of Proper Brands, said in an email to The Independent that the company respects the post-harvest team's decision and their right to determine how they want to be represented. Quote, Proper Brands has always believed that our people are the foundation of our success, and the commitment remains unchanged, Pennington said. As we move forward, our focus will be on building a constructive relationship rooted in mutual respect, open communication, and our shared goal of producing the highest quality cannabis products for Missouri. Pennington also said the company remains committed to, quote, providing a safe, supportive workplace where every team member has the opportunity to grow and contribute to our continued success. We're pleased to be a part of this process, he said, and look forward to working with the UFCW. Hazelwonder previously told The Independent that the Proper team was encouraged by a May decision from the National Labor Relations Board, which decides labor disputes and sets national policy on union organizing. The board rejected another St. Louis marijuana company's argument that post-harvest employees are agricultural workers who are excluded from a federal law that protects most private sector employees' right to unionize without fear of retaliation. Quote, thanks to the recent NLRB ruling, we have the opportunity to sit at the table and make it better for us and others to come, Hazelwonder said. And what follows is a picture of several Proper Cannabis post-harvest employees talking with Sean Shannon, the lead organizer with the union. This was taken on July 2nd in St. Louis. At Vibe, Letts said she and other production workers were told they'd have the federal Juneteenth holiday off this year. But then, a few days before the holiday, she says managers told them they'd have to work. They later learned the company paid for another department's employees to go to Six Flags theme park on Juneteenth. It's part of the favoritism, such as free meals and other perks her team doesn't get to enjoy. I love that department gets all of that extra stuff, like genuinely, Letts said, but our department gets absolutely nothing. Juneteenth was the last straw for post-harvest employees who were on the fence about unionizing, Letts said, and Shannon filed the petition to unionize June 18th. Katie Parker, Human Resources Manager for Vibe, said the company had no comment on the petition or the issues raised by employees. Since the petition was filed, Letts said workers have been required to meet individually with 2 consultants who told employees the company hired them to educate workers on the union process. Letts works in the trim department, where she operates the Mobius trimming machine, she said. During the summer, the room is often 80 degrees with poor air circulation. They've told us many times that the thing they're worried about getting above 80 degrees in that room is not our well-being as employees, but of course the well-being of the product. She said she and her colleagues do challenging work that's vital to the quality of Vibe's product, but they don't see the pay raises other departments do. Bird Herndon, who has worked in Vibe's post-harvest department for about a year, agreed with Letts. Cannabis cultivation and processing are physically demanding and almost always impact respiratory health, Herndon said. Making sure we have consistent access to safety equipment like respirators is a top priority. Herndon said a structured collective bargaining process would allow the team to, quote, work collaboratively with management to formalize, streamline, and uphold high standard safety procedures and equipment protocols for everyone. Among the group's demands is the option of a 401k so they can plan for retirement. Vibe employees have been in touch with organizers at Proper and Beleaf, Herndon said, to learn from their experiences. Quote, we can all help each other, Herndon said. More minds on the problem leads to a better solution for everyone.
All right. From the Springfield Daily Citizen, here's how 5 former Missouri State Bears have performed in the MLB this season, heading into the All-Star break. Atlanta Braves catcher and 2025 NL Rookie of the Year Drake Baldwin will start for the National League in the July 14th All-Star Game. And what follows is a picture of 5 former Missouri State students that have played MLB innings this season. Missouri State, coming off its most recent NCAA tournament appearance, continues to produce a steady stream of MLB talent. 5 former Bears have logged MLB innings through the first half of the 2026 season. Byline reads, Drake Baldwin, Atlanta Braves. After becoming the first National League Rookie of the Year from Missouri State since ex-Philadelphia Phillies great Ryan Howard, Baldwin's sophomore MLB season has also been exceptional. Baldwin will be the starting catcher for the National League in the Tuesday, July 14th MLB All-Star Game at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, and that's at 7 p.m. Central Time on Fox. Baldwin, 25, is one of 5 Braves to receive an All-Star nod, spearheading an Atlanta team, 52-37, that currently has a 3-game lead in the NL East. Before sustaining an oblique injury in mid-July that sidelined him for a month, Baldwin was hitting .303 with 13 home runs and a .931 OPS through 47 games. He is batting .255 for the season with 15 home runs and 43 RBI. Baldwin hit his first career grand slam in a 10-9 loss to the Mets on Sunday. In 2022, Baldwin was drafted by Atlanta in the 3rd round, 96 overall. The byline reads, Jake Berger, Texas Rangers. In his 6th year in the MLB and second with the Rangers, the starting first baseman is batting .246 with team highs in both home runs, 15, and RBI, 53. Berger, a cleanup hitter for the Rangers, 45-45 team, is 1.5 games out of the AL West lead, hit a 447-foot home run on Sunday, ending an 0-for-15 skid. Berger was the 11th overall pick in the 2017 MLB draft by the Chicago White Sox. Next byline reads, Drew Millis, Washington Nationals. In his 4th year in the MLB with the Washington Nationals, 47-45, Millis has grown into a regular rotational player along with fellow catcher Keibert Ruiz. Millis already has 128 at-bats this season, nearly as many as 3 previous seasons combined, 134. He is batting .188 with 2 home runs and 11 RBI. He was drafted in the 7th round, 205th overall by the Oakland Athletics in 2019. Next byline is Pierce Johnson, Cincinnati Reds. In January, Johnson, a veteran right-handed relief pitcher, signed a 1-year, $66.5 million contract with the Reds, his 6th MLB team since being drafted by the Chicago Cubs in 2012 in the 1st round. Johnson, 35, has appeared in 28 games this season for the Reds, 41-48, logging 25 innings. He has struck out 25 batters, walked 10, and has an ERA of .432. A year after being teamed up with Baldwin and the Braves, Johnson has a 2-1 record with a save. And the next byline, Hayden Wenger, Toronto, Oakland. Weeks after making his MLB debut with the Toronto Blue Jays, pitcher Hayden Wenger was traded to the Oakland Athletics on June 27th. He is currently with the club's AAA affiliate, the Las Vegas Aviators. Wenger had 2 appearances for the Blue Jays, pitching a total of 2 innings. He yielded 2 hits and earned runs with 2 walks and no strikeouts. With Toronto's AAA affiliate, Buffalo, Wenger had a 2.59 ERA this season with 28 strikeouts in 24 innings. Hoyingrew was selected in the 6th round, 182nd overall by Toronto in 2021.
And from the Springfield News-Leader, Missouri parents can now open Trump accounts for kids. Missouri parents can now open a Trump account for their children after the new federal Child Investment Account program officially launched on July 4th. The accounts created under President Donald Trump's tax and spending law are available to eligible U.S. citizen children under 18. Children born between January 1st, 2025 and December 1st, 2028 may qualify for a one-time $1,000 federal contribution. Older eligible children can open an account without receiving the government's seed money. Treasury officials say more than 6 million accounts have already been opened nationwide, including about 1.4 million for newborns eligible for the $1,000 federal contribution. Well, here's everything you need to know about. First off, quote, what is a Trump account? Is that first byline. A Trump account is a tax-deferred investment account owned by a child and managed by a parent, legal guardian, or other authorized adult until the child turns 18. The accounts function similarly to traditional individual retirement accounts. Funds deposited in these accounts grow over time through investment earnings. Once the child reaches 18, the account generally functions like a traditional IRA, subject to IRA rules on contributions and withdrawals. Investments are limited to low-cost U.S. stock index funds and exchange-traded funds. The Treasury Department's default investment is the State Street Portfolio S&P 500 ETF, though officials say additional investment options will become available. Next byline, who qualifies for a Trump account? Children must be U.S. citizens, have a valid Social Security number, and be younger than 18 by the end of the year the account is opened. Only one Trump account can be opened per child. Well, how do Missouri families open a Trump account? Parents and legal guardians can apply online by completing IRS Form 4547 on the federal Trump Accounts website or by filing it with the federal tax return. After the application is processed, families receive instructions to activate and manage the account. The Treasury Department is also launching a mobile app that allows parents to monitor balances, make contributions, set recurring deposits, and access financial education lessons for children. Well, who can contribute to a Trump account? Beyond the federal government's $1,000 contribution for eligible newborns, money may be added by parents and relatives, friends, employers, charities and nonprofit organizations, and government entities. Annual contributions from families, friends, and employers are generally capped at $5,000 per child. Employers may contribute up to $2,500 per employee annually, regardless of the number of children the employee has. Well, when can Trump account money be used is the next byline, and generally distributions begin when the child reaches adulthood. Federal guidance is not fully settled whether withdrawals can begin January 1st of the year the child turns 18 or only after the child's 18th birthday. Like traditional IRAs, early withdrawals may be subject to taxes and penalties. However, exceptions exist for certain qualified expenses, including higher education, first-time homebuyer, birth or adoption expenses, some emergency expenses, and certain medical costs. Once the account holder reaches retirement age, withdrawals are generally subject to the same rules as a traditional IRA. And where are the Trump accounts managed? Trump accounts are administered by the U.S. Treasury, with Bank of New York Mellon and Robinhood serving as the program's initial financial partners. Families can manage accounts through the Trump Accounts mobile app or online portal where they can view balances, track investment performance, and make contributions.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, MSU's Brent Dunn to step down at end of school year. As Vice President for University Advancement, Dunn has helped raise hundreds of millions for the university. He'll step down on July 1st, 2027. And what follows is a picture of former Missouri State University President Cliff Smart shakes hands with MSU Foundation Executive Director Brent Dunn during the announcement of an anonymous 7-figure donation for the school's new alumni center. Once more, with feeling, Brent Dunn, Missouri State University's Vice President for Advancement, has announced that he intends to retire next year. On his retirement date of July 1st, 2027, he will step down as the leader of MSU's endowment efforts for 41 years. Brent's impact on Missouri State is impossible to overstate. He has been one of this university's greatest champions, inspiring generosity and helping transform our campus through his unwavering commitment to our students and mission, said MSU President Richard B. Williams in a press release. He leaves big shoes to fill, and the university is better because of his leadership. This marks the second time that Dunn has announced his retirement from MSU. In 2022, he announced his intent to accept a position with the Missouri State Fair Federation. But a few months later, he returned after accepting some financial incentives. Dunn has earned $75,000 of a possible extra $150,000 he could have earned. He started in 1985 as Director of Annual Giving and worked in leadership positions for development and athletes before entering the promotion to Vice President in 2007. In his role, he is also the President and CEO of the Missouri State University Foundation. And what follows is a picture of Brent Dunn, an Executive Director of Missouri State Foundation, and accounting graduate student Isaac Moore unveiling the new Pendleton Family School of Accounting on Monday. Dunn has been called the face of the university, according to Jim Wilson, chair of the Missouri State University Foundation of Board and Trustees. Saluting his support and enthusiasm for the university, he said that Dunn represents MSU in the same way as how athletes such as LeBron James and Travis Kelce represent their teams. Williams in November said that Dunn's ability to connect with people and build relationships was superhuman. He knows everyone, and it's almost scary how much he knows, Williams said. He knows not only people's names, but when they were here, their major, their parents, their dogs' names. It really speaks to his character. He isn't here just to do a job. He is Mr. Missouri State. He led two major fundraising campaigns. One was the record-setting Onward Upward campaign that brought in $474 million. The 5-year campaign reached its goal in 2022. And the campaign for SMS, which has brought in more than $50 million. Money raised has benefited virtually every part of campus, including scholarships, endowed professorships, headlining speakers, and building projects. And what follows the picture, Brent Dunn smiling as Brev Keltner and Jim Wilson surprised him with an awesome office suite named after Dunn inside the future Missouri State Advancement Center on Thursday, November 13th, 2025 in Springfield. One of those projects includes the Clifton M. Smart University Advancement Center set to open this fall. The 28,000 square building will be the home for alumni events and services, housing the university's foundation, alumni relations, and advancement departments. And it will finally give a non-campus home for its alumni center, something Dunn has long worked for. Dunn was surprised to learn last year that the foundation raised money without him to place his name on its suite of offices. Dunn will work inside those offices for barely a year before stepping down at the end of the school year. The university plans to launch a nationwide search for his replacement. But it won't be a slow year. The university is preparing to launch a major construction project inside McDonald Arena that will have to be financed exclusively through private gifts. A construction plan is expected to be considered in a few months. He is coming off a school year where he helped raise more than $50 million. Alongside Missouri State's strategic plan, he and his department have launched their own. I feel incredibly fortunate to work at such a great institution where lives are changed for the better. It is an honor to be here at Missouri State, Dunn said as a press release. We still have much to accomplish this year, and I much look forward to Missouri State's continued growth.
And a couple of opening and closings to tell you about. First off, the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame has set a reopening date. For the first time in more than 4 years, doors of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame's memorabilia-packed museum will be opening. The public will be able to walk through the museum in downtown Springfield starting August 12th, officials say. It's located right next to the Hall's new headquarters at 431 West Walnut Street and open weekdays from 10 till 5. Quote, "This moment represents resilience," said Rob Marsh, president and CEO of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Fame in a news release. There were challenges, there were uncertainties, but there was never a moment where we lost sight of the mission. This museum is a reflection of that commitment to preserve these stories and to ensure they continue to inspire future generations. In an interview, Marsh said that roughly 5,000 square feet of display space is smaller than the Hall's longtime office and museum home near Highland Springs Country Club. Marsh said he stretched every dollar to transform the former office space on Walnut Street. He said the project cost roughly $50,000, included paint, lighting, and removing walls. We don't have the square footage we once had, he said. It's fully ready to go right now, but we're going to be constantly swapping memorabilia out. He said feature displays will rotate based on the sports season. For example, football highlighted in the fall. We've maxed out every square inch, he said. The museum honors key Missouri athletes and sports moments. Marsh said the museum recently created a wall listing the name of every inductee, and he wants inductees and their family members and friends to be able to visit the space and its preserved memorabilia. That has been at the forefront of my mind that we've got to get this open, he said. The Hall plans to participate in First Friday Art Walk, and Marsh plans to schedule a VIP reception and ribbon-cutting ceremony. Marsh said he's identified several really good options for a permanent home in Springfield, but plans to be in the current space through 2026, likely most of 2027. He said the busts of sports figures that once adorned the exterior of the Hall's former home are in secure storage. This is an important step forward for the Hall of Fame, said Dan Nelson, chair of the board, in the release. We're proud to see the museum return in a way that strengthens our connection to the community while honoring the legacy that has made this organization so meaningful to so many. The nonprofit was located in a 34,000 square foot building at 3861 Stan Musial Drive from 1994 until October of 2024. The building was sold to businessman Jim Hagel, but terms of the deal were not disclosed. The museum had been closed for renovations since 2021. And on the other side, Big Dog Deli is closing. A canine-themed deli restaurant on Springfield's northwest side has closed after roughly a year in business. They were located at 3459 West Kearney Street, and it was owned by entrepreneur Mark Burgess. They announced their closure on Facebook. Quote, after much consideration, we made the difficult decision to close the deli, the Post reads. We want to sincerely thank every customer who supported us this past year. We truly wish we could have kept it going, but we're grateful for the opportunity to have served this amazing community. In an email, Burgess said higher food costs and employee pay contributed to the closure. It's just coupling those together make our pricing so high. No one can afford to eat with us, he said, noting employees deserve to get paid more than they once did in the market. Everyone loved our food, and we had a lot of loyal clients, but the numbers will just not pencil and food costs just keep increasing. Big Dog Deli opened with a June 2025 soft launch, selling sandwiches with dog-themed names such as a build-your-own sandwich options called Mutts, according to past reporting. The business operated in 1,250 square feet.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, East Coast sandwich chain Capriotti's coming to Springfield. The sandwich restaurant is taking over the space on East Battlefield Road, formerly occupied by Pizza Pit. And what follows is a picture of Capriotti's sandwich shop, which is opening in first Springfield location on East Battlefield Road. Plans are underway for the first Capriotti's sandwich shop in Springfield, located in the former Pita Pit space at 1318 East Battlefield Road. The franchise's LLC was founded in July of last year. Once permits were approved, the construction crew is already contracted and construction will begin immediately. The chain boasts locations in both the St. Louis and Kansas City areas, but this location will be the first Capriotti's in southern Missouri. Founded in 1976, the sub shop originated in a Little Italy neighborhood in Delaware and has since expanded to over 175 locations nationwide. One of the sandwiches restaurants claims to fame is the Bobby, a Thanksgiving-themed sub and slow-roasted turkey, stuffing, mayonnaise, and cranberry sauce. In 2009, AOL voted it the greatest sandwich in America. The byline reads, franchisee also operates local fazoli's. Springfield's Capriotti franchise is no stranger to Italian-inspired fare in the Queen City. James Jacobson, who has a background as an executive chef, also operates 3 Fazoli's locations, 2 in Springfield and 1 in Joplin, along with his wife Donna Jacobson and business partner Larry Graham. Jacobson learned of Capriotti's through a business contact. Later, he drove down to Fayetteville, Arkansas with his business partners to sample the sandwiches that are served at Capriotti's, and they were impressed. There's nothing like it in Springfield, Jacob said. It's just the quality of the product, the flavor, the freshness, the variety. Jacob said that the venture could expand into multiple stores down the line, but the focus will be on the Battlefield location first. The restaurant is expected to open by mid to late September, according to Jacobson.
And former governor will reprise ancestors' town crier role in Independence Celebration. And we see a picture of a smiling former governor, Jay Nixon. He'll be reading the Declaration of Independence at this event. In an event being held to celebrate the founding of the United States, Greene County Commission Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon says a key goal is a united community. Celebrating America, slated for 2 p.m. July 8th in the rotunda of the historic courthouse, will feature a reading of the Declaration of Independence with an ice cream social co-hosted by Democratic and Republican women's organizations. Dixon said the reading of the historic document will be by former Missouri Governor Jay Nixon, a Democrat. That's by design, Dixon said, noting that the county's elected leadership is made up wholly of Republicans. Quote, "We're honored to have him and to invite him to share some of his thoughts about civics and restoring civility," Dixon said. Other guests scheduled to participate, former U.S. Senator John Ashcroft, a Republican who served as U.S. Attorney General under President George W. Bush, as well as Missouri Governor from 85 to 93, and Max Bacon, a Democrat who served in the Missouri House of Representatives and as a Greene County Circuit Judge. "We're trying for what so many in the country are yearning for, something higher than politics," Dixon said. He said the event aims to be unifying and to call participants to their better selves. Quote, "That's what we're all about." Dixon said the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Democratic Women's Club of Greene County and the Greene County Republican Women's Club will be sharing a table and giving out membership information, but no political material. There will also be serving ice cream and Coke floats, sponsored by Highland Dairy and the Ozarks Coca-Cola Dr. Pepper Bottling Company. Nixon, the featured presenter, is a significant choice for the reading of the Declaration, as his ancestor, Colonel John Nixon, was a Philadelphia town crier who announced the signing of the historic document at noon on July 18, 1776. Dixon said, "The Second Continental Congress voted to approve the Declaration on July 2nd and signed it on July 4th, but kept their action secret until July 8th, he said. Quote, "They were probably signing their own death warrants," Dixon said. He adds Colonel Nixon was also a Philadelphia merchant and financier, highlighting the role that businesses played in the nation's founding. Dixon said the gathering will put partisanship aside in the spirit of unity. Quote, "If nothing else, we're going to reaffirm that that's who we are in the Southwest Missouri, and we want to stay that way. I think it can catch on." He compared the effort to a quote by one of the nation's founders, Samuel Adams, who famously said, "It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men." Freedom fires, once they get started, are hard to put out, and for good reason, Dixon said, adding that organizers hope unity is similarly contagious. Dixon said there is a business case to be made for a spirit of unity. When the community pulls together, everyone does better. When people are more energetic and feel better about their community, they can meet a neighbor they would not have known, and there's less contention in their lives. Things are more settled and more calm. In that environment, people can be productive and can devote mental energy to creative ideas, benefiting the entire community and the businesses within it, Dixon said. Unity is to everyone's benefit, he says. The event is scheduled from 2 to 4 p.m. again today, July 8th, though Dixon said music by the Salvation Army will begin at 1:30 p.m. 2 choral ensembles, Springfield Sound and the Springfield Patriotic Choral, will also be performing at the event. Dixon said multiple community organizations will have displays and activities. He cited the Discovery Center, the Springfield Greene County Library District, and the History Museum on the Square. Additionally, there are 500 copies of the Declaration of Independence printed on parchment paper, and participants can sign a copy to confirm their commitment to the principles it contains and then take it home as a keepsake. The event is the product of planning by multiple county staff, Dixon said, including Archives Director Connie Yen.
Oh, yeah. From the Springfield Daily Citizen, MSU earns accreditation from Higher Learning Commission. Accreditation required for accepting Pell Grants for students and other federal funds. The university has been continually accredited since 1915, and what follows is a picture of a large group of MSU students assembling for Fountain Day, held on April 23rd. A 110-year-old record of continual accreditation from Missouri State University will continue for another 10 years. The university announced that it has been fully accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. Accreditation is an important recognition that assures incoming students of quality. It is required for acceptance of Pell Grants for students as well as any other federal funding. Enrollment growth is a big part of the university's strategic plan as MSU aspires to have 30,000 students enrolled by 2030. Financial aid is a critical part of students' ability to obtain a college degree. And enrollment is where the university receives the largest portion of its revenues. MSU is working with a limited budget this year because of a combination of enrollment changes and reduced state funding. MSU President Richard B. Williams said the accreditation is also a third-party validation of the university's quality. It's an independent affirmation of the quality of our academic programs, the strength of our operations, and most importantly, our commitment to student success, Williams wrote Tuesday in his blog. It tells our students, their families, and our communities that Missouri State education continues to meet the highest standards. The accreditation comes after years of preparation. On the Springfield campus, an oversight committee was led by Mary Boland, Algerian Hart, Egon Hindental, Tamara Yankee, Provost Clarenda Phillips, Sean Wall, Andrea Weber, Kelly Wood, and Mark Woosley. Yankee was the dean of the College of Natural and Applied Sciences before her retirement took effect at the start of this month. In March, she said that the university teams prepared for about 2.5 years for the visit, preparing what is called an assurance agreement. The document is a detailed self-study and policy review that demonstrates how the university meets accreditation standards. The self-study covered 4 criteria that the commission examined: the university's mission, integrity, student success, and sustainability. The commission's visit earlier this year was part of its process for holding the MSU accountable to its plan. Open forums were held for members of the campus community during that visit, including meetings with students, faculty, and Senate groups. Achievements don't happen overnight, Williams wrote on his blog. They are the result of hard work from faculty, staff, administrators across both campuses. From preparing our comprehensive self-study to hosting the peer review team and demonstrating the incredible work happening every day at Missouri State, this was truly a university-wide effort. The Higher Learning Commission is a private nonprofit agency that accredits about 1,000 colleges and universities across the country. It is recognized by the U.S. Department of Education and the Council for Higher Education Accreditation. Missouri State has been continually accredited by the Commission since 1915. As byline reads, West Plains campus has probationary status removed. The Commission also marked progress for the campus of Missouri State University, West Plains, which had been accredited with probation. Earlier this month, the Commission removed the probationary status and granted full accreditation. The campus will go through a comprehensive evaluation for reaffirmation of that accreditation in the 2029-30 school year. For West Plains, the process toward accreditation began in 2024 under then-Chancellor Dennis Lancaster, then completed with current Chancellor Zora Mulligan. This marks an important milestone for our university, Mulligan said in a press release. It reflects our strength and a vibrant institution that transforms lives through impactful education and training, offering personalized support for student success and strengthening our communities. Our entire university community played a role in this reaffirmation, and I'm grateful to everyone who contributed to this achievement. The campus was placed on probation in 2024 for being out of compliance with expectations for student learning and cited concerns about quality of educational offerings.
Missouri is investigating ESPN's Matt Miller after a crash and fraud claims. The Missouri Attorney General's office has opened an investigation into ESPN NFL draft analyst Matt Miller shortly after he lost his left arm following a serious car accident in the state. The Attorney General's office could not disclose the details of the investigation due to its active nature. However, it did imply the case was related to consumer protection. The Missouri Attorney General's office encourages consumers who believe they have been misled to contact us. The office said in a statement to USA Today Sports, Attorney General Catherine Hanaway takes consumer protection very seriously and will work diligently to uncover the facts. A consumer complaint can be filed online or by phone through the Consumer Protection Hotline at 1-800-392-8222. Next byline, what happened to Matt Miller? The crash took place at around 3:50 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday, June 17th. Miller was driving eastbound on Missouri Route 96 in Jasper County on June 17th when he crossed the center line and struck the front driver's side of a semi-tractor trailer. He was taken to Mercy Hospital in Joplin for treatment, where he would undergo a life-saving amputation of his left arm. The next byline reads, Matt Miller controversy is stemming from fantasy leagues, charitable efforts. After Miller disclosed the accident on social media, his family started a GoFundMe to help with his medical costs. Shortly thereafter, though, many online users began calling out Miller for alleged past financial improprieties involving fantasy football leagues, paid scouting lessons, and charitable efforts. Several people spoke to Awful Announcing about their dealings with Miller, claiming they'd paid entry fees for charity fantasy leagues he ran, with buy-ins as high as $500, only to find him unreachable when it came time to collect winnings or confirm where the charitable portion of the money had gone. Awful Announcing said more than 40 individuals have reached out with similar stories since the original article's publication. Miller's GoFundMe has been paused as of July 3rd. Before that happened, the campaign had raised just over $51,000 towards a $55,000 goal. Matt Miller is a Joplin native and a Missouri Southern State University alumnus, according to his ESPN bio. He joined ESPN as a year-round draft analyst in 2022 after serving as Bleacher Report's lead NFL draft writer from 2010 to 2021.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, 2 topics, faith and food, added to Community Focus Report. Now managed by MSU's Ozarks Public Health Institute, the report on the state of Springfield is on track for an October 2nd release. And the picture that follows is of Tracy Nash and Alan Tinkler of the Ozarks Public Health Institute of Missouri State University reviewing plans for the Community Focus Report. A biennial effort is taking hundreds of volunteers and hours of research and data collection, is on track to be completed on schedule. Managed by the Ozarks Public Health Institute at Missouri State University, the 2026 edition of the Community Focus Report is set for an October release. It will mark the first report since the Institute took over. Tracy Nash, facilitator of the report, said that steering committees are working on their final phases of collecting data and identifying the report's signature blue ribbons and red flags. While the printed report will remain the same, the OPHI has added an aspect, online reporting. Nash said that the addition of developing a website that offers some live reporting of key indicators has been a challenge. Community indicator projects are not very common, Nash said. So we've been working for the past few years on building the infrastructure so that we can relay back to the community responsible data that's clean, accurate, and easy to verify. Already some of the work that is on display on the Community Focus Report website, including data dashboards for education, housing, health, transportation, and more. Nash said that when the new report is released, the website will be uploaded with that information and more. A public release has been planned for October 2nd at the Hatch Auditorium, located at the Library Center. And the byline reads, New Focus Areas in 2026. Simultaneously offering a snapshot and a big picture, the report provides details about conditions in the Springfield community, arranged in blue ribbons and red flags. The report outlines problems with good solutions in place and those still in need of an answer. The report does not provide any answers or plans to address those problems. It is commonly used by community service groups to channel charitable efforts. More than 100 volunteers have been involved with gathering data for this year's report. They have worked with the Community Partnership of the Ozarks Collaborative Program. New this year are 2 topics, both led by CPO collaboratives. Steering committees are identifying successes and challenges in a similar manner as the other 11 topics. Food. This topic focuses on food security and the local food economy. It also covers the connections between food access, public health, and community resilience. Nash said the topic has intersected with much of what the report tracks, including poverty and health outcomes, so the chance it gave to give it a separate spotlight is exciting. Faith. This topic emphasizes the many communities structured around belief and looks to increase empathy, understanding, and resource providing. Nash said that such organizations are a cornerstone of community care and collaboration. The other 11 topics remain the same as in previous years: arts and culture, business and economic development, citizen participation, community health, early childhood, education, housing, natural environment, public order and safety, recreation and leisure, and transportation. And the byline reads, "Increased demand drives report to new home." The Institute inherited the report from a 5-way partnership between the Community Foundation of the Ozarks, United Way of the Ozarks, Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce, Springfield Greene County Library District, and Junior League of Springfield. The effort was led by volunteer facilitator Jonathan Grooves, a communication professor at Drury University. In 2024, Groves said that the report had become a victim of its own success. Its data and analysis are now sought by a wide variety of groups hoping to meet community needs. The Institute gives the report something it has needed: full-time staff members. In 2025, the Institute earned an almost $550,000 grant from the Missouri Foundation for Health that has enabled the staff from OPHI to expand the report's online data dashboards. Nash said research data analyst John Skupach has brought an academic social sciences approach to the entire project, and graduate assistants and interns have helped move the project forward. The grant also allows the Institute to print more hard copies of the report. Doing the report and the online reporting at the same time has felt really natural, Nash said. There have been a few years' worth of attending meetings through CPO's Community Collaboratives program, so that when we come to the actual authoring of the report, we have a pretty good idea about what we're going to see. Nash said the OPHI's version of the report is not intended to be bigger and better, just more because of what paid staff members can bring to its effort. OPHI also benefits from being housed at a university, so that an academic mindset can remain one of its hallmarks. Groves has been an advisor over the last 2 years and will contribute to this year's report, Nash said. And Nash can confirm that the demand still exists, which means October 2nd can't come soon enough for many. A lot of people have called to ask, please tell us that you are still publishing a community focus report. So I am taking that as a sign of demand, Nash said. A lot of people don't want to see the report go away. They only want to see it expanded.
And you're listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store's radio reading service. Hope you'll be sure and come by and see us in person with great daily deals at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. Veterans receive a 25% discount every day, which provides, of course, significant savings. Just a way to say thank you for your service. Additionally, the store features a weekly clothing sale. All clothing items are available at 50% off. That's on Wednesdays. And seniors age 55 and older, you'll get a 25% discount Tuesdays, making shopping more affordable. Marshfield Drink Trailer is serving up connection and unique beverages. Shanda Kloster has always loved making people feel seen and bringing joy into their lives. In fact, you would find a VHS somewhere with her preschool graduation on it, said the Maui native, where while all the kids are saying that they want to be they want to run a restaurant or want to be an astronaut or a doctor, she proclaims that she wanted to work at McDonald's and hand out Happy Meals to people and make them smile. Well, the Joyful Cup is Kloster's answer to that dream. And we see a picture of a very happy, smiling Shanda Kloster posing outside of her drink trailer, the Joyful Cup, in Marshfield. On a humid Thursday in front of the Marshfield Community Center, Kloster served up icy drinks and personal connection to customers looking for something to perk them up. Even the inside of her trailer brightened the overcast day with pinks and yellows, as refreshing as her made fresh lemonade. I said I wanted to work at McDonald's so I could hand out Happy Meals and make people smile, Kloster said in a July 7th interview. It just so happens that on my journey I do just that. It just took a long time to get here. A lot of twists and turns, but I am happy I arrived. The trailer is at Marshfield Community Center, 118 Commercial Street, from 9 to 5 Thursdays in July. Check out their Facebook page, The Joyful Cup 417, for other events and pop-ups. And the next byline reads, Religion and Heritage Guide the Joyful Cup. The Joyful Cup offers up lemonade, teas, blended drinks, and more. Kloster makes some of the flavor bases like Yube by hand instead of using a mix. The signature shakers are 32-ounce concoctions varying from fruity lemonades to milk teas with tapioca pearls. And we see a picture of Shanda squeezing some pulperinda into a cup for a jail drink, which is a passion fruit mango lemonade with a special seasoning and mango. Check this place out. Names of the shakers come from stories that have resonated with Kloster throughout her life. Each of the women I chose are pieces that were parts of my story that he has moved me through. So it allows that conversation piece to be even more intimate than when I connect with people, she says. Kloster moved to Marshfield 29 years ago from Maui, Hawaii, just before she turned 12. She ended up marrying a local, staying in Marshfield, but her Maui roots and Filipino heritage shine through in her menu. I love all the Asian treats, and I'm always going to share it because it's just fun, Kloster said. I think they bring joy because they're usually unique and textural, and people are usually a little wigged out and then pleasantly surprised. And we see a picture of a Miriam signature shaker, which includes pineapple juice and lemonade. She plans on soon adding some Halo Halo, a colorful Filipino dessert with shaved ice, fruit, and sweetened red beans. Through the years, Kloster has worked alongside many nonprofit organizations. Currently, she's involved with Webster County nonprofit, the Forgotten Initiative, which assists foster families and at-risk families in the county. When nonprofits partner with the Joyful Cup, Kloster donates 12% of revenue, less sales tax, quote, just to kind of help them with their efforts and mission. Kloster aims to do more than just sell drinks to her customers. For her, the Joyful Cup is a calling that God has repeatedly guided her toward. Often, she said, she's been led to assist women in business and to remind people of the joy in life. My biggest thing in anything that I do is making people feel seen. Whatever that is for the individual in front of me, Kloster said, that is really, truly the mission. There's so many people that just need a hug and a smile.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, West Central landlords must register properties for rental inspection program by July 31st. The 18-month rental inspection pilot program launched on March 23rd. And what follows is a picture of the beautiful West Central neighborhood sign. Landlords in Springfield's West Central neighborhood have until July 31st to register their single-family and duplex rental properties or potentially face a municipal violation charge resulting in a fine of $500 to $2,500. Registration is required as a part of the city's 18-month rental inspection pilot program, which is limited to West Central. The Center City neighborhood is bordered on the north by Chestnut Expressway, on the south by Grand Street, on the east by Kimbrough Avenue, and on the west by Kansas Expressway. West Central was selected due to its high concentration of rental properties, numerous blighted and nuisance cases, and aging housing stock. The pilot program only applies to single-family and duplex rental properties, of which there are approximately 1,451 in West Central. As of June 30th, 256 of those properties were registered through the program. I scrolled too fast. Oh, there we go. In addition to potential municipal violation charges for failing to register by July 31st, BDS may elect to enforce registration through administrative proceedings, which could result in additional fines and/or liens on the property or properties. Approved by the Springfield City Council in November 2025, the program officially launched on March 23rd. Leading up to its launch, the city hosted public information sessions with property owners and tenants. The meeting with the property owners can be watched in full here on the website. And what follows is a map of Springfield's West Central neighborhood. West Central landlords who have questions about the program are encouraged to reach out to BDS by phone or email at 417-864-1059 or at bds@springfieldmo.gov. Under the pilot program, landlords are required to obtain a rental registration license for each property at a cost of $35 per year. The first $35 fee will cover the first inspection of each rental unit. Unless a property fails to pass an inspection, rental units will otherwise be inspected once every 5 years. Additional re-inspections that require BDS to travel to the site as a result of a failed inspection start at $50 and increase on a graduated scale for each re-inspection. Upon registration, property owners are provided with a rental inspection checklist alongside other educational materials. Once a property has passed inspection, a certificate of compliance will be issued, which must be displayed on the property alongside the rental registration license. BDS Director Martin Google previously said the city would initially focus on properties with past complaints. Of the 256 properties registered by June 30th, 84 received an initial inspection. Of those, only 27% passed, Google said at June 30th meeting of the City Council's Community Involvement Committee. Of the 9 properties that received a re-inspection by June 30th, all passed. BDS has also initiated 7 blighted building cases as part of the inspection process. Google said the biggest challenge in implementing the program thus far has been obtaining a consent to enter from tenants. We're still trying to work one-on-one with those knocking on doors, but also working through other groups to assist with that, Google said. And part of it is not really so much, we are seeing some unwillingness, but it's also just trying to find, get them when they're either not there and we knock on the door, they're not responding to any kind of notice on a door hanger we give them. And so that's just been a struggle getting that going. While hopeful that the city is better able to connect with its tenants as the program continues, Google said they may have to consider pursuing administrative warrants in the future. The city plans to conduct a review of the pilot program once it's been in operation for 12 months to determine whether to continue to adjust the program, expand it citywide, or add more resources to support it.
And just after the 250th anniversary of Independence Day, Honor Flight of the Ozarks flew out 81 veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit the city's famous memorials on Tuesday, July 7th. Many visitors welcomed the veterans upon their return at the Springfield Branson National Airport. Live bands played music as the veterans passed through the tunnel of visitors, holding signs and cheering for them. Jim Gallion, a veteran visiting the event, talked about the importance of giving these servicemen a welcome home, saying especially the Vietnam veterans because they didn't get what they deserved when they came home. Multiple visitors had a personal connection to the celebration of the veterans. Quote, "Well, my dad was a veteran," said Donald Richardson, a vendor at the Honor of Flights of the Ozarks. "He just passed away a month ago. I wanted to take him. He just got too sick. It's a real honor to do these for these veterans." Another visitor whose family member is a veteran was none other than Miss Missouri Teen 2026, Anna Hall. She spoke about the event's meaning and her relationship to her grandfather. "My grandfather's actually a veteran. He lives in the Springfield area, so he won't be on the honor flight tonight, but opportunities to work with our veterans, serve them, honor them in any way is really special to me," Hall said. Some were at the honor flight of the Ozarks for a learning experience. "We've been working really hard on patriotism this year, specifically because of the 250th anniversary, but that's just a good motivator to kind of get it going," said Laurel Lurkin, who brought children with her to the event. "And so it's always good to teach the kids how to support veterans and learn what they did for us." And one other quick story here. Police write 9 tickets, 8 to pedestrians for crosswalk violations on North Glenstone. SPD says it's stepping up enforcement after 6 pedestrians were killed in the first half of this year. And we see a picture of the signage lines both sides of North Glenstone Avenue between Interstate 44 and Kearney Street. July 1st, the Springfield Police Department conducted extra crosswalk enforcement at the High-Intensity Activated Crosswalk, known as HAWK, on North Glenstone Avenue. HAWK is a technical term for crosswalks with lights that pedestrians are able to activate via a button. The enforcement was in response to 6 pedestrian deaths in the city so far this year, part of the Safer Streets SGF campaign, which started in 2023. It was intended to improve both pedestrian and driver compliance with traffic laws, as well as increase awareness of Missouri's hands-free driving law, according to a press release sent out by Springfield Police Department. Officers enforce laws regarding unsafe pedestrian behavior, including illegal mid-block crossings, crossing outside the designated pedestrian facilities, walking on the roadway where sidewalks are available, and crossing diagonally instead of using the shortest legal crossing route. The traffic unit educated through enforcement both drivers and pedestrians displaying unsafe or illegal behaviors, Public Affairs Officer and SPD spokesperson Chris Waters said. Throughout a 2-hour enforcement period, 9 citations were given, 8 to pedestrians, 1 to a driver. And in addition, 22 pedestrians safely crossed the street utilizing the hawk signal. Officers always have discretion at traffic stops when it comes to citations or formal warnings. The Glenstone signal was chosen because of the large amount of traffic that goes through the area due to various businesses, as well as because of the hawk signal in the location. According to SPD, further traffic operations are being planned for the remainder of the year. Best practice, according to SPD, will always be to use crosswalks or hawk signals when available. When not available, pedestrians should take the shortest possible route at 90 degrees, not diagonally. Swatters also recommended pedestrians try to make eye contact with drivers. More information on pedestrian safety can be found via SGF Yields, a nationally recognized pedestrian safety campaign founded in 2017 by Springfield Public Works in tandem with Springfield Police Department.
And from the Springfield Daily Citizen, Independence Police arrest man wanted in death of Missouri State freshman. An 8-month search for the suspect came to an end early Monday morning, police say. The Independence Police Department announced Monday, July 6, officers arrested the man charged with murder in the November 2025 killing of a Missouri State University freshman. Eric Phillips, 29, was arrested early Monday morning in Independence, according to a news release from the department. He's charged with first-degree murder in the deadly shooting of Elijah Murray, 18, who was back home in the Kansas City area over Thanksgiving break. A probable cause statement in the case says Phillips, Murray, and Murray's girlfriend had been hanging out in the early morning hours of November 28, 2025, when Phillips abruptly told the woman he needed to drop them off. A witness told police that when Phillips stopped to drop off Murray in Independence, he shot her 3 times in the face, the statement says. Murray's body was found hours later abandoned in Kansas City. Murray, 18, was studying nursing at MSU and was known for her bashful grin and friendly personality, according to a report in the Kansas City Star. In addition to first-degree murder, Phillips is also charged with armed criminal action and abandonment of a corpse. He's being held in the Jackson County Jail with a bond set at $350,000. He does not have an attorney listed as representing him.
A mom of a drunk driver sues Club Rodeo deceased passenger in a 2025 crash. The March 2025 crash on Glenstone Avenue claimed the lives of 19-year-old Isaiah Sanchez and 22-year-old Alexis Norman. And what follows is a picture of a cross with a floral arrangement on it that is posted on a utility pole in front of the subway on South Glenstone. The mother of a 19-year-old driver who died in a 2025 crash after allegedly being served alcohol at Club Rodeo filed a wrongful death suit last month against the Springfield Club. The mother is also suing her son's passenger who died in the crash. The fatal crash happened in front of the Subway restaurant, 1120 South Glenstone Avenue, at about 2:20 a.m. on March 29th of 2025. Isaiah Sanchez, 19 of Springfield, and his passenger Alexis Norman, 22 of Lebanon, were traveling north on Glenstone Avenue in a 97 Honda CR-V. According to police, Sanchez lost control of the vehicle and eventually hit the sign in front of the subway. Sanchez, whose blood alcohol content was more than twice the legal limit, was transported to the hospital but later died from his injuries. Norman died on the scene. The circumstances of the crash were part of an ongoing investigation, and no other information had been made public until June 18th, when Isaiah's mother, Sylvia Sanchez, filed a civil lawsuit. The lawsuit alleges Norman was, quote, physically and verbally assaulting Isaiah Sanchez in the moments before the crash happened. The Daily Citizen obtained the written crash investigation report from the Springfield Police Department in June, and here are some key findings from that report. The report says Norman and Isaiah Sanchez attended a party after leaving Club Rodeo, and that Sanchez continued drinking alcohol at that party. The report says surveillance video does not appear to show Norman assaulting Isaiah Sanchez in the moments before the crash. A witness told police Isaiah Sanchez had previously made threats to crash on purpose during arguments with his girlfriend. The lawsuit also details Club Rodeo's history regarding alcohol violations, including stating that Club Rodeo was for a time the #1 establishment in the state where drivers reported having their last drink prior to being arrested for DWI. The next byline, crash caused the vehicle to split in two. According to the crash report, police found evidence indicating Isaiah Sanchez was driving about 65 miles per hour north on Glenstone Avenue with his headlights off when his SUV veered across the road, struck a sidewalk and curb on the east side of Glenstone. The vehicle became airborne and began to roll over and struck the support post of the subway sign. The rear half of the vehicle wrapped around the post. The front half of the vehicle separated from the rear, overturned, and spun before coming to a rest. Despite social media rumors that Isaiah Sanchez might have been racing another vehicle, police reviewed videos from nearby businesses and found no evidence other vehicles were involved. And we see a picture of the location where that fatal crash happened with the subway sign in the background. The toxicology report found Isaiah Sanchez's blood alcohol concentration was 0.196%, which is more than twice the legal limit. His blood also tested positive for cannabinoids. According to the report, police reached out to a friend who'd been hanging out with the couple prior to the crash. This friend said she believed Isaiah Sanchez might have deliberately caused the wreck in an attempt to kill both himself and Norman. The friend told police Isaiah Sanchez and Norman had been in a romantic relationship for 1.5 years, but the relationship was tumultuous at times, according to the crash report. The friend told police Isaiah Sanchez had a history of threatening suicide and self-harm whenever he and Norman would get into arguments and had previously threatened to kill the occupants of a vehicle the group was riding in. This friend shared with police a voice message she received from Norman at 2:14 a.m., about 7 minutes before the fatal crash. In that message, Norman said that she was slapping and punching Isaiah, and you better hope that I make it home. I am really ticked off. I'll edit it that way. According to the crash report, police reviewed surveillance footage from nearby businesses of the SUV that did not show any indication of any disturbance inside the cabin of the vehicle prior to the crash. However, Isaiah Sanchez's mother in that suit points to that voice message from Norman as evidence Norman was assaulting Isaiah Sanchez at the time of the crash. And Sylvia Sanchez's claim against Club Rodeo is the next byline. We see a picture of the big Club Rodeo sign, which is located on West Bennett Street. The club is open to customers 18 and up, and according to the website, patrons must be 21 to be served alcohol. According to Sylvia Sanchez's wrongful death suit, Isaiah Sanchez and Norman went to Club Rodeo March 28, 2025. Both were served alcohol. Isaiah Sanchez was under the legal drinking age, so bar staff put an M mark on his hand. But the suit alleges that Isaiah Sanchez purchased alcohol by simply covering the M on his hand. According to the suit, both Isaiah Sanchez and Norman became intoxicated and left the club in the early morning hours of March 29th. The petition contains screenshots from video allegedly taken by Norman on the night of the crash. The screenshots allegedly show Isaiah Sanchez and Norman drinking from a plastic cup inside Club Rodeo. Defendant Club Rodeo had a duty to not allow Isaiah to consume alcohol on its premises. The petition reads, quote, Defendant Club Rodeo failed in that duty as Isaiah was blatantly in the open consuming alcohol on club premises. And Club Rodeo's history of alcohol violations is the next byline, with the suit then going on to list some of their history, including that the establishment has been found guilty of serving alcohol to minors by Missouri Division of Alcohol and Tobacco Control in the past. The Missouri Division of Alcohol and Tobacco Control generates a point of last drink, POLD, report which tracks where drivers report having their last drink before being arrested for DWI. According to the suit, more people arrested for DWI named Club Rodeo as their point of last drink than any other bar in the state. The November 2022 POLD reports that Club Rodeo had 22 DWI arrests in the last 180 days. The number 2 location had 7 arrests. And according to the suit, Club Rodeo had 81 alcohol violations from the Division of Alcohol and Tobacco Control between January and July in 2023 and had its liquor license suspended for 18 days in 2024 for serving alcohol to a minor who was involved in a deadly crash. Club Rodeo is well known for supplying alcohol to persons under the legal drinking age on its premises and has been party to similar violations that resulted in serious injuries and death, the suit alleges. The injuries suffered by the plaintiff are the type of injuries that were or should have been foreseeable to defendant Club Rodeo and their agents. Daniel Starnes, agent and resident licensee for Club Rodeo, is named as a defendant in the suit. A message left at Club Rodeo for Starnes has not been returned. And the claim against Alexis Norman in a mission filed on July 1st, Sylvia Sanchez's attorneys wrote that they investigated and found Norman had no assets at the time of her death, but the attorneys found a progressive insurance policy available which could provide coverage. After becoming intoxicated at Club Rodeo, defendant Norman physically and verbally assaulted Isaiah as he drove his vehicle. The lawsuit alleges in part Norman engaged in such contact with the intent to cause physical injury or impairment to Isaiah. Norman knew or should have known that conduct creates a substantial risk or death or serious physical injury to be striking Isaiah while he was operating a motor vehicle, the suit alleges. Norman knew or should have known that contact would impair Isaiah's ability to maintain control of his vehicle. And the next byline is reading that friends suspect the crash was intentional. The 30-page crash reported, including narratives from several investigators who responded to the scene, spoke with witnesses who were in the area or with the couple prior to the crash, and viewed surveillance footage from nearby businesses. The primary investigator, an officer with the Springfield Police Department, did both an on-scene investigation and a follow-up. The crash happened at 2:19 a.m. on March 29th, and around 4:40 p.m. that day, the investigator called a friend of Norman's who met up with the couple in different locations before the crash happened. The friend told the officer she was concerned Isaiah Sanchez may have deliberately caused the crash in an attempt to kill himself and Norman, the officer wrote in the report. According to the report, the friend told the officer Isaiah Sanchez had previously threatened to kill the occupants of a vehicle they were in and once threatened to knock out both her and Norman. The friend told the officer Isaiah Sanchez had previously threatened to run off the road with Norman in the vehicle or shoot her while he was intoxicated. The friend said she met up with Norman and Isaiah Sanchez in the hours before the crash at a liquor store downtown. She said she talked Norman and Isaiah Sanchez into going to Club Rodeo, but before they headed to the club, the group did a few shots of alcohol in the parking lot. According to the report, the friend told Norman and Isaiah Sanchez didn't appear to have any obvious conflict while at Club Rodeo. The report does not state how long the group was at Club Rodeo or give any details about what or how much alcohol they consumed while there. After leaving the club, they went to an after party at a house in the 1500 block of South Pickwick Avenue. And according to the report, the friend told the officers that while at the after party, Isaiah Sanchez began consuming Fireball whiskey and became highly intoxicated at one point, vomiting all over the bathroom. And the next byline reads, report includes interactions with driver's mom. The crash reports includes information about conversations between the primary investigator and Sylvia Sanchez, who later filed the wrongful death suit against Club Rodeo and Norman. And according to the report, she expressed numerous concerns with the circumstances surrounding the crash. Sylvia Sanchez told the officer about rumors on social media there was another vehicle involved, or that another vehicle had been chasing Isaiah Sanchez's vehicle. After viewing surveillance video and speaking with witnesses, investigators determined these rumors are not true, according to the report. According to the report, Sylvia Sanchez expressed concern regarding the voice message sent by Norman and asked if that was an indication that Norman assaulted her son before the crash. And the next byline reads, not the first time the Club Rodeo has been sued. They have been sued by the parents of a Logan Rogersville High School student who died when his friend drunkenly crashed a vehicle in Greene County and sued for allegedly serving alcohol to the underage driver. The parents of Gavin Vare filed a wrongful death suit November 21st, 2024 against Club Rodeo. Benjamin Shug, the driver, was 18 when the fatal crash happened July 16th of 2023. Vare was a passenger in Shug's vehicle and died as a result of injuries from the crash. According to online court records, this wrongful death suit was settled with Club Rodeo and its agents not admitting a liability, but agreeing to pay the plaintiffs a confidential amount. And the final byline here reads, Club Rodeo sued over alleged assault. A Rogersville man who was allegedly assaulted at Club Rodeo last summer is suing the Springfield nightclub, claiming the bar served alcohol to the underage suspect. Hunter Rogers, then 19 of Sparta, has been charged with the Class A felony of first-degree assault, serious physical injury. He's set for a plea hearing later this year. The alleged assault happened at around midnight, August 22nd, 2025 at Club Rodeo. The victim and now plaintiff in the civil suit filed on January 12th of this year, that he suffered 2 broken bones in his nose, a possible punctured vein that caused multiple excessive nosebleeds, and as a result, the victim has been admitted to the hospital multiple times and had to receive a blood transfusion, according to court documents. In the civil suit, the plaintiff alleges Club Rodeo was negligent in allowing the underage Rogers to consume alcohol before Rogers allegedly assaulted the plaintiff. This case has not yet been resolved.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, Ozarks Lunkers owner's Big Dog Deli closes after 1 year due to rising costs. Big Dog Deli, located at 3459 West Kearney Street, Suite 100, announced its closure on July 6th. The owner, Mark Burgess, cited rising costs as a reason for closing. And what follows is a picture of the Big Dog Deli, officially closed on July 6th, 2026, about 1 year after opening. Big Dog Deli in Northwest Springfield is officially closing its doors after a one-year run. Owner Mark Burgess, who also owns the Ozark Lunkers indoor football team, said rising food and labor costs led to the decision to shutter the business. Bottom line is the labor cost and food cost is going through the roof, and it's been in a location in town that's hard to sustain because it's the northwest side of town, the industrial area, where we don't have a lot of office traffic or residential traffic, Burgess said by phone July 6th. Big Dog Deli, located at 3459 West Kearney Street, Suite 100, announced its closure on Facebook. The restaurant opened in June 2025, according to previous Daily Citizen reporting. Thank you for an incredible year, the company said in the post. After much consideration, we've made the difficult decision to close the deli. We want to sincerely thank every customer who supported us this past year. We truly wish we could have kept it going, but we're grateful for the opportunity to have served this amazing community. Big Dog Deli was known for a menu featuring hot dogs, sandwiches, and salads with a plenty of pre-made options for a full grab-and-go menu. The company's slogan was East Coast style with Midwest love. Big Dog was not Burgess's first foray into the restaurant world. The Ozark Lunkers owner, who also founded Oz Air Charter Services, teamed up with John Allen, who was hired as the general manager of Big Dog. The two have a rich history. They opened Aviary Cafe, and Allen managed it until the business was sold to the O'Reilly family in 2015, according to previous Daily Citizen reporting. Burgess owns a shopping center that housed the Big Dog Deli. The Enshire Shopping Center had about 8,500 square feet and was owned by Big Dog Airport Plaza, LLC, according to Greene County Assessor's office records. Big Dog Airport Plaza was registered to Burgess according to Missouri's Secretary of State records. Burgess said July 6 that he was looking for another restaurant tenant to fill the space. There's always a possibility Big Dog Deli could come back to life at a different location down the road, Burgess said. But right now, the focus is to shutter the current location and then go from there.
And a tiny town Kansas star in Taylor McCarty has committed to the Lady Bears, if that sounds familiar. Well, it should. Missouri State class of 2027 commit plays for a high school of 41 students and a Division I factory of an AAU program. And we see a picture from the MSU Bear and Missouri State recruiting roughly 30 years ago. Then Missouri State women's basketball coach Cheryl Burnett secured a monumental recording win when rural Kansan and prolific guard Jackie Stiles showed the Lady Bears over the likes of UConn, Kansas State, and Oklahoma. Stiles, whose graduating class at Claflin High School had all of 23 students, would go on to become one of the most notable women's basketball players in the NCAA Division I history. Her bronze statue in front of Springfield's Great Southern Bank Arena and namesake of the Missouri Valley Conference Most Valuable Player Award, the Jackie Stiles Player of the Year, speak to her importance in a career that included a gaudy 3,393 points and a Final Four appearance. The Lady Bears, who have 8 NCAA tournament appearances since the Stiles era, the most recent earlier this year under Coach Beth Cunningham, appear to be bringing in another tiny town Kansas star. Versatile 5'10" Shaylin High School guard Taylor McCarty, the Kansas Class I Division II Player of the Year, is recently committed to Missouri State. Her high school's total student enrollment was 41, and that's among the smallest in Kansas. Quote, "I'm blessed to announce my commitment to Missouri State to continue my academic and athletic career," McCarty posted to social media in June. "Thank you to my family for their endless support of me and my dreams of playing D1 basketball. Go Bears!" Bird City, which is located about 200 miles east of Denver, is home to the Shaylin Unified School District, which draws students from nearby McDonald, Kansas. McCarty has averaged a well-rounded 21.9 points, 8.5 rebounds, 4.1 steals, and 3.2 assists for Shaylin since bursting onto the Kansas high school basketball scene her freshman year. Her 2 older brothers, Colton and Logan McCarty, ranked among the best players in Kansas' 6-man high school football history. Logan was the first ever 6-man football player selected to the Kansas Shrine Game in 2024. Their family owns a large 4th-generation dairy operation in Bird City, McCarty Family Farms. Playing for the regionally acclaimed AAU basketball program, Missouri phenom helped McCarty get on Division I recruiting radars. She fielded offers from MSU, Wichita State, Oakland, and Southeast Missouri State, as well as Division II schools Fort Hays State and Nebraska, Kearney, and Drury. The Missouri phenom have had a long pipeline to Missouri State. Current Lady Bears Kaylin Bickemeyer, Janayla Bush, Hannah Lithcom, Audrey Hopkins, and Macy Mays are among the dozens of phenoms Division I alumni.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, SRC partnership Genie Recon to increase workforce by 50% with Springfield expansion. Genie Recon, housed in a 136,000 square foot facility at 2065 East Pythian Street, will increase its workforce by 50% by the end of the year to approximately 90 employees. And what follows is a picture of Genie Recon, housed at 2065 East Pythian Street. Genie Recon, an SRC Holdings Corporation partnership company which manufactures aerial lifts, has announced a Springfield expansion. Genie Recon, housed in a 136,000 square foot facility at 2065 East Pythian Street, will increase its workforce by 50% by the end of the year, according to a Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce July 6 press release. The expansion is a project of Springfield Business Development Corporation, the Chamber's economic development arm. The company aims to employ 90 people by the end of 2026, with additional growth planned over the coming years, according to the press release. Genie Recon is hiring in planning, production, maintenance, engineering, and warehouse roles, according to the press release. Washington-based Genie has made its name in building aerial lifts for the construction, industrial, and energy industry since 1966, according to the company website. The SRC Holdings Group partnership company, Genie Recon, will recondition telescopic boom lifts, restoring equipment to original factory specifications, fully inspected and tested. This is a great example of what happens when a homegrown company like SRC keeps reinvesting in our region, Jonas Zargis, Senior Vice President of Economic Development at the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce, said in the release. Genie Recon strengthens our advanced manufacturing base and builds on a long history of that sector in our community. SRC has a long track record of building businesses that last, and this new partnership with Genie Lifts is the next chapter of that story. Genie Recon currently reconditions Genie S65 and S85 telescopic boom lifts, and the company has plans to expand to additional models. Expansion plans include adding manufacturing capability for electronic and hydraulic systems in lifts.
And Springfield rental inspection pilot targets West Central landlords. Springfield landlords with rental properties in the West Central neighborhood must register those units by July 31st or face potential fines and enforcement actions. The requirement is part of a pilot rental inspection program overseen by the city's Building Development Services Department, according to a community announcement. Landlords can complete registration online at springfieldmo.gov. West Central is bounded by Chestnut Expressway on the north, Grand Street on the south, Kimbrew Avenue on the east, and Kansas Expressway on the west. Building Development Services Director Martin Google said landlords with question can contact the department at 417-864-1059 or bds@springfieldmo.com or review program information online. Landlords who miss the registration deadline could face a municipal violation charge with fines ranging from $500 to $2,500. The city may also pursue administrative proceedings that could lead to additional fines or liens on properties. Byline reads, pilot program targets rental conditions. The 18-month program aims to test a rental inspection system before expanding it citywide. Officials chose West Central due to its high concentration of rental properties and aging housing stock, according to the announcement. West Central is an area with a high concentration of rental properties, numerous blighted and nuisance cases, as well as the average age of structure being 102 years old, Google said. With approximately 1,541 single-family and duplex rental units, this phased approach enables us to test the program on a smaller scale, gather insights, and refine it before citywide implementation. Inspections, fees, and compliance requirements. Rental units will be inspected once every 5 years. About 308 units are expected to be inspected annually, and landlords must pay a $35 annual license fee, which includes the first inspection. If a property fails, re-inspections requiring travel to the site will cost $50, with additional re-inspections increasing in price. Inspectors will evaluate whether homes meet habitability standards, including structural integrity, functioning utilities, and the presence of required safety features. Checklist items include roof condition, plumbing, and electrical systems, heating capability to maintain at least 68 degrees, smoke detectors, emergency escape windows, and signs of insect or rodent infestation. Properties that pass inspection will receive a certificate of compliance that must be posted along with the rental license. If tenants do not provide consent for entry after notice, officials may seek an administrative search warrant to conduct the inspection. Landlords whose property continue to fail inspections may face fines through administrative hearings and municipal courts. Local neighborhood leaders say they expect the program to improve housing conditions. The West Central Neighborhood Alliance is in full support of this pilot program and the broader effort to create safe, affordable housing for Springfield residents. West Central Neighborhood Alliance President Dwayne Keys said, "With such a high percentage of renters in our neighborhood, it's critical these properties meet basic habitability standards." And former Neighborhood Advisory City President Becky Foles said inspections could benefit both tenants and landlords. How can we expect our residents to love where they live and improve their quality of life if their landlord doesn't respectfully maintain the home they're renting? Foles said, "I believe periodic inspections will eventually assist landlords in awareness of maintenance needs." The City Council has allocated nearly $460,000 in the 2025-26 operating budget to launch the program. Funding includes hiring a residential building inspector with a salary of approximately $74,000 and an office administrator with a salary of around $60,000. Additional expenses include $40,000 for a city vehicle, plus $4,000 in ongoing costs, $5,000 for equipment, and $40,000 for office construction. The Slate system will cost $15,000 in its first year and increase to $40,000 as the program expands. Officials will evaluate the program based on inspection coverage, housing condition improvements, compliance rates within 30 and 60 days, feedback from landlords and tenants, cost versus revenue, and readiness to expand citywide. Findings after the first 12 months will guide whether the city continues, modifies, or expands the program, Google said.
And from the Springfield Daily Citizen, after hearing bleak Jeff City report, SPS board to continue pushing legislative advocacy. District lobbyist Jason Zamkis reports to board about legislative session, future funding challenges for public schools, and what follows is a picture of the Missouri State Capitol on January 29, 2026. After a legislative session that saw the state underfunded public schools and increased funding for private ones, the Springfield Board of Education plans to keep up its increased legislative advocacy. Board members heard a legislative update during their June 23rd meeting from lobbyist Jason Zamkis during a meeting in which both board members and employees blamed state funding as a reason for lighter raises. Board members also voiced concerns about state political pressures that affect Springfield public schools. Without a vote, board members expressed a consensus to further increase legislative efforts. The goal is to educate and influence lawmakers about how SPS is affected by the policies set in Jefferson City. Board President Judy Brunner, at the beginning of her comments during the meeting, said it was inherent on the board to aggressively get involved in legislative advocacy. Near the end of the discussion, though, she wanted to change that word. "What I should have said was passionate. Everyone at this table is very passionate about public education, what it provides, and what it does for our country and our democracy," Brunner said. "We want to do all we can to get out there and tell the story of not only what's going on in Springfield public schools, but to share all the message of what public schools have done for us." Superintendent Granita Lathan proposed preparing for the 2027 legislative session by repeating what the district did in 2026. That includes a December session reviewing pre-filed bills with Zamkis, listing legislative priorities, and hosting visiting sessions with lawmakers. Lathan also expressed interest in getting each board member to Jefferson City during the session and exploring how to get board members to testify in favor or in opposition to bills. And the next byline reads, "Flat funding but no unfunded mandates." And what follows is a picture of outgoing State Senator Lincoln Huff recalling his time as chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee on Monday, June 29, 2026 at the Hatch Auditorium in Springfield. In his report, Zamkis said that state lawmakers were more productive than in past years, with increases in the number of filed bills and in bills that were sent to the governor's desk. Zamkis reported on the General Assembly passing a bill that shortchanged state spending on public schools by $190 million. As promised at the beginning of the year, spending on education remained flat at $4.3 billion. Almost 2 weeks after the board's conversation, Governor Mike Kehoe vetoed almost $53 million and restricted about $441 million from that budget. Yet he kept the $60 million for private school vouchers intact, one of the few large additions to the budget, according to reporting from the Missouri Independent. That shortfall in funding turned out to be a tool for protecting public schools from bills that would have placed extra costs on them. Referencing a team of senators involved with a passing of a 2024 education reform package, Zamkis said a coalition was formed. Members of that coalition opposed such unfunded mandates, and Senator Lincoln Huff was key in that opposition, Zamkis said. He was the champion of who would stand up and offer an amendment, Zamkis said. If we're going to make school districts do this, it's going into effect only if we fully fund education. That amendment went on countless bills in the Senate, and they all died. Byline reads, flexing advocacy muscles more, and what follows is a picture of Springfield School Board's education member Dr. Miriam Mokammadai Kami attends the board's reorganization study session on April 15, 2025. Bruner and board member Daniel Kincaid both credited board member Marianne Mohammed Kami for first sounding an alarm 2 years ago about getting more involved in state advocacy.
Yeah, we're going to have to wrap up.
I just didn't know where to stop.
Yeah. Hey, we'd like to thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel, beginning at 10 for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. And don't forget to listen after we're live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts played over KSMU subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for more information on how you can receive a radio.
12 p.m. I know, I messed up.
No, you're fine.
We both messed up.